He's trying to walk to the net. Comes in. He scores! An incredible goal! The Diary shoots the score! He shoots and scores!
All right, welcome to Penn's Weekly Update with Scott and Ken, presented by Pittsburgh's DSEN. My name is Ken Craig. I'm a credentialed reporter with Pittsburgh's DSEN covering the Pittsburgh Penguins. I'm joined with our resident journalist, Scott Crowell, and we are here to talk all things Pittsburgh Penguins. Today, we're gonna discuss the West Coast road trip, current standings outlook, injury outlook as well. I know Evgeny Malkin, St. Ivany, and maybe a potential Rust suspension. And then last, we might touch on the trade deadline if we have some time. But before we kick into conversation, just some quick housekeeping, Scott. First, our show is brought to you by Pittsburgh's DSEN. We are a 24/7 radio station that includes Pittsburgh sports talk and lifestyle programming. Check out the music lineup at pghdsen.com. And if you're interested in receiving like real-time updates on players and coaching press conferences, locker room interviews, go to Pittsburgh's DSEN YouTube and check us out. Live shows all throughout the week. And if you'd like to support us, all we ask is please subscribe. It's a free and easy way to support what we do. And last, our show is now on multiple platforms, so you can find Penn's Weekly Update on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or anywhere that you listen to your podcast. So let's get back and talk some Penguins hockey. Scott, I know you just released an article right before we went live. What's going on with you? What's happening in your world?
Yeah, so kind of summed up the West Coast road trip. Obviously, big win yesterday against Vancouver. Made it pretty tight. I was pretty surprised by how close it got when Vancouver had literally no business being in that hockey game last night.
Yeah,
That was,
yeah, it did get pretty close. I will say that it came down to that last save by Skinner, which is being compared to the Marc-Andre Fleury save against Detroit, but this was a little bit different. That was to win the Stanley Cup. This was to win or sweep a road trip. So a little bit of a different consequence on that shot.
yeah, yeah. No, that was when I saw it go down on my screen, I wasn't like screaming, but I was kind of like, oh my god, that's shades of Fleury.
Yeah,
I
it was almost the same exact setup, like same rebound, same time on the clock, everything. It was pretty wild.
and the way he threw his body into it too, literally looked like Fleury-esque. And I
Yep.
mentioned that in the article. I was like, oh my god, like how familiar that save was.
So to talk a little bit about the road trip, we played some really good hockey, traveling out to the West Coast and Canada. So we started the road trip with Seattle Kraken, then we went to Calgary, Edmonton, and then finished it off at Vancouver, like we were just talking about. What were your thoughts on how we played, some of the matchups? I guess what's some of your insight?
I I don't think they could have played a better road trip. That was one of the best road trips I've seen them play in years. I remember the last time they dominated a road trip like that was in 2022, the last time they made the playoffs, where they legit were steamrolling through every team. Like I remember they beat Seattle like 7-1 or something like that game. They steamrolled Calgary and they steamrolled Edmonton, and then they went into Vancouver, and that was a game where their GM, Jim Benning, and Travis Green got fired the day after they came in,
Wow.
and pumped Vancouver pretty vividly. And I remember because I was at that game myself, and I saw jerseys get thrown on the ice and beer cans thrown on the ice as well. So that was, I think that was the breaking point. But that was the last time I've seen them dominate a road trip like that, especially on the West Canada road trip.
Well, and Scott, we talked about how important that road trip was, right? I think you and I may have, I'd have to look back at the predictions, but I believe we had them going um,
2-2.
2-2. I'm almost positive we had them going 2-2, kind of mixing up which game win and which game lost. But both of us did not. Did you? Do we both have them losing in Edmonton?
Yeah, we did.
And I think 99% of Penguins fans had them losing in Edmonton, but we went in and absolutely steamrolled them. What a game
It was a
that was. I mean, it was hard to step away from the TV that night because you had no idea when another goal would be scored. And not to mention, Anthony Mantha with, that two goals in a matter of, you know, was it almost 3 seconds or 20 seconds, I'm sorry, not 3 seconds, 20 seconds, and then Crosby's goal within the next 10 seconds. So Anthony Mantha just opening it up. The better part of that, and this is not a hateful comment, but to do that against Jari made that even better.
Yeah, for all the years that he let that happen against us, the fact that
Yep.
he gave us a favor, thanks, Charles. I
Yeah.
appreciate it, man. He's
And
paying
he's paying it forward, and some of the like when the camera would go back to him and seeing him kind of staring up at the of the jumbotron to kind of to see the instant replay. So many times we've seen that, right? In so many games we've seen him let up a goal and watch him kind of stare up, and it was really nice to be on the other side of that. And I also want to mention, I believe this takes Sidney Crosby's number to 168 different goalies that he has scored against.
That is correct.
So that is a phenomenal number. 168 different goaltenders in the NHL that he has scored against. So that is insane.
Yep.
Uh,
Hard to do in any sort of league. The fact that he can do that just with ease. I mean,
with
that's
ease.
typical. Like that's vintage Sidney Crosby, and he did it with ease from the slot.
Do what other games stood out to you?
I like how the last couple of years, Calgary, they kind of struggled a little bit, and they weren't as strong in Calgary. I like how they really took control of that game. They didn't really give up much, and I found that they were just dominant the whole game, and they smothered a lot of their forward chances, and they played it literally the most 200-foot game they could play. Like Stu was on his game when he needed to, and I just want to give a shout out quickly to Igor Chinnikov.
Woo!
Is probably the star of this road trip. In my opinion, he might be like the number one star of the 4 games that we saw.
He has been such a huge pickup. I could not have I couldn't have imagined, him coming in and making such a big impact, right? Like I don't want to overstate this pickup at all, but it is massive, right? The speed he brings to the ice, the shot by itself is just something to watch. And it brought a different energy, right? And I'm not saying he's responsible for the winning, but it brought a different energy to the line. And I think him and Malkin are they're going to be special together for the rest of the season. If Malkin can stay healthy, those two can do some damage.
Yeah, I mean the way the puck comes off his stick, like it's off in an instant, and it's so quick that it's like, I mean, it fooled Jars. Jars didn't even know it came in and out. Like he had to use the jumbotron to make sure that went in himself.
Well, what was it? I think they clocked it over 90 miles per hour. And that was a wrist shot. That was not a slap shot. That was a wrist shot. It was clocked over 90 miles per hour.
I mean, but I didn't realize it by the time it was off of Novak's stick over the Chinnikov. I didn't even realize the puck came out of the net.
I don't think half the people on the ice did, because the way it hit the padding on the crossbar.
Well, yeah, like Shay and Gino had their hands up, like they knew it had went in already, but Novak didn't even know it went in. He was the last one in the celebration because I don't think he thought it went in.
So I believe Igor Chinnikov has 7 goals on the season now, and say that again.
5 of them with Pittsburgh, only
Yeah.
2 of them with Columbus.
Yeah, five of them with Pittsburgh, two of them with Columbus. He was, I know that there was some friction with, the former head coach of Columbus. I know that there was some friction, and he asked for a trade last summer. Um, how and why were they not activating this person?
I think the fact that he was getting fourth line ice time, I think they weren't utilizing him the way they should have. I think Dean Evason's more of a relaxed sit back coach more than he is a Dan Muse type style where you can integrate him anywhere in the lineup. And I think if you use him properly with line mates, I mean, look at the results. It
Yeah,
speak for itself. And I think
absolutely.
burning bridges like that to a point is where the change of scenery was needed, and clearly his agent said, "Listen, like it's time to move on to another team," and he's reaping the rewards early on. Clearly,
Very rarely do I, when someone says they need to change the scenery, it's often right. I'm often skeptical about, okay, who was it? Why was it just not working? Right. But this felt different. When we acquired him, I had hesitation, right? Like giving up a second round draft pick, I wasn't fully bought in. I was excited to see what we got, but I was not fully bought in. And he has proved me just wrong. Um,
and they managed
really,
to ditch Heinen in the process.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They kind of cleared up some of that log jam as well, and I'm really happy that we got him. He's making a big impact.
Agreed.
Someone made a big impact last night in front of 150 of his friends and family, and that's Mr. Ben Kindle, who broke his. A lot of people were talking about his goal. Um, his lack of goals recently, and he was kind of on a not what would you call it, a hiatus of goal scoring.
He was the monkey was has been on his back for 15 games.
Yeah, yeah, and I really wasn't overly worried about it. I felt like his 200-foot game has improved tremendously since game one. His defensive puck attack and his passing has all been improving as it should be. So I felt like the goals were going to come.
Um,
And last night in Vancouver, it felt like he had a pep in his step. He was moving faster than I've ever seen him, and he was asked about it, and I think he was excited to play in front of his family and his friends and former team, and um, I mean that first goal you could just see it, and then he got the second one. He was just smiling, so good for him. He deserves that.
that's a lot of
Uh,
the box. First off, 190 people.
yep, yeah, it was wild,
I
absolutely wild.
had a family member was kind of making a joke saying, "Damn, he must have forked out a lot of money for that suite."
Oh my gosh, yeah, are you kidding me? That's like two suites, two or three suites put together.
Two suites, because I'm thinking 190 people is probably two. Because I've like as someone who's been in the Rogers Arena and been in a suite, you got to take a lot of people to go in those suites.
Yeah,
They're pretty big, but they're not big enough to fit 190. So I think he probably was two or three at best. But can you
absolutely.
acknowledge the fact he broke the camera on the second goal?
Yeah, that was wild. That was wild. That was a shot too. I mean, and what I liked was he didn't hesitate. As soon as the puck hit his tape, boom, right in the back of the net.
Well, I wrote this in my article. I said Ben Killen, in the process of showing out in front of his family, also costed Rogers Arena and the NHL some money.
Yeah, I think I forget who after the game. I think it was Dan Potash asked him. I know you forked out a lot of money for the tickets for your family, but be away, be ready for the invoice to come for the camera you broke. Um, I think that's something that the younger guys, especially Ville Koivunen and Rutger McGroarty, I feel like what we saw Ben Kindle do is what they're struggling with,
Yeah.
right? Getting that puck on their tape and immediately letting it rip, instead of holding on to it and trying to make that one extra move or make that one extra pass, right? Like I just rip it sometimes, and that was that was exactly what you want to see.
Well, and that's just it. I think Muser's got them to a point where they're now a shot first mentality team. Where I think when they went through that losing skid a little while ago, where they dropped a couple games, I think they were pretty hesitant and they kind of sat back a little bit more than everyone liked. And I think he noticed that pretty quickly and made the adjustment and got his guys to continue shooting the puck at like as much as they can. And I mean, clearly, I mean, look what's happening. Like they're scoring more goals and they're padding leads quicker, which allows them to kind of play a stronger game, which clearly, I mean, 4 straight wins for a reason, right? Like,
Absolutely. And just to clarify, to go back to Kindle, so it was 19 game goal slump that he had. Um, so yeah, he's back. I think any rookie, you're going to see him come in chunks, right? There's going to be hot times. There's going to be times where he's not scoring. It is not what I would consider a slump per se. Felt like the pucks just weren't going in, and they were bouncing his way yesterday. And, he's going to get him. He's going to have a good season. So, but, he's a rookie still. So be mindful of that.
well, he's I think I saw a stat this morning where he's the first rookie in Penguins history since Gensel to break I think it was a 10 goal plateau in his rookie season.
Oh, wow.
And yeah, we all know Jake the Snake in his first season. I mean, he just went off, but he was just a natural. But
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
was the first
Absolutely.
Gensel's in the cup year to break that record. So
That is wild.
it's a big
Um,
show to break.
let's talk. I know. Is there anything you else want to talk about before we go move on to the standings?
Um, oh, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Burnaby Winter Club. They're the ones that develop Ben Kindle. As a fellow Vancouverite, I can say that program has developed a lot of good NHLers, but great job on developing Ben Kindle. I think they did a pretty good job on that.
Yeah, they did, to say the least. They sure did. And I know he got his ring too, right? Yesterday there was a picture of him getting his ring from that. So awesome job to everybody involved in his development. He's been great to have in the city, and I look forward to having him and talking with him and getting to know him moving forward as well. So,
Mhm.
but let's talk standings.
Oh,
Scott, what are you seeing in the standings? Because I see the black and gold creeping up a little bit.
I see. Let's just say, look out, Carolina, because the black and gold are creeping up game by game, and they're on your tail. So I don't think you can afford to lose any more games because there's a 6 point gap right now between
Yeah,
first place.
and what's wild is earlier in the week, I'll even say in the week, not even earlier in the season, earlier in the week, um, there it was every game, we'd go second, third, fourth, based on if we won, if we lost, and if we won, you might see us move up a spot. If we lost, we might move down 2 spots or even down out of the wild card spot. So these 4 wins straight put us in a really good spot. So we are currently sitting second in the Metro Division, like you said, 6 spots behind Carolina, or 6 points behind Carolina. I'm sorry, and 4 points ahead of the Islanders,
Which is huge.
and 6 points ahead of Philadelphia right now. So we're starting to see some separation
Yep.
now. Well, you and I talked last episode about what's going on next month, or not next month, March. I'm sorry, we're not even in February yet. But after the Olympic break, this schedule gets tough.
It's
So stacking all of the points we can right now is going to help us as we go into March.
well, yeah. When they come back from the break, Devils and the Rangers, 2 big Metro opponents that they need to get 4 points from. And then as they head into March, we talked about how they got Colorado twice,
Yeah,
Boston twice, Carolina 3 times. Like those are Utah. They got their Central road trip. I mean,
with Vegas. Yep.
yeah, the Vegas road trip as well. Let's not forget that. Like it's a lot of points that they need to collect and
So
be a gauntlet.
So we are currently on a 4-win winning streak right now, but 6-2-2 in the last 10.
Mhm.
Home ice and away ice. Away, we're still playing really well. We've always been an away team, but 15-7-4, and then 11-7-7 at home. So
Mhm.
our goal differential right now is plus 17.
Woo.
That that is huge. Looking at Carolina's, they're plus 30 right now, and yeah, that's really good. But being plus 17, we're in a good spot. We need to keep that as high as possible.
I agree. Well, I mean, to point out the fact that, like, as I'm seeing right now, they have a better goal differential than a first place Detroit team in the Atlantic.
Yeah,
Like, that
yeah.
says a lot. And they
Look
have
at Tampa Bay's got plus 47, which is absolutely wild.
disgusting. It's
Hmm.
but it's crazy to think this is a crazy year in the NHL this year. Like Buffalo's in it. Detroit is
Yeah.
going to make the playoffs. Detroit's a playoff team this year, which finally they're getting over the hump. But it's like, don't count any teams out. Florida's creeping back up. Washington's still in the hunt there. They're tied with Philly, so they're kind of created some separation. But New Jersey's starting to skid, I find as well. So I think coming back from the break, um, if they're still ahead of New Jersey by a margin like that, I think they need to take that game. That's a game to win.
Yeah. Is there a team, in our conference
Hmm.
that you would be scared to match up with in a playoff division? And
Uh,
and I'm not getting ahead of myself
Here's
because March is difficult, but I'm talking about this like who would you be scared to go against going into a playoff scenario?
like if you're talking like a round one opponent.
Sure, yeah.
Um, I think they could beat the Islanders. I will say this on record. The Islanders are not that good of a team. I mean, getting gifted Matthew Schaefer is a pretty big gift, and that's enough to spark a team like that. If I were scared of, like, let's say a team in the 2-3 hole, I would probably be scared to play Washington.
Yeah.
They are they would probably. I mean, yes, would it be nice to have the Washington Pittsburgh rivalry back? Yes, but they're young. Spencer Carberry is a good coach, and they know how to coach the team, and they have two solid goaltenders.
Yeah. Yeah, they're creeping up there as well. I mean, they're not out of it by any means.
No,
Currently sitting at 57 points, just like what is that, six behind us, tied with Philadelphia at the 4-5 spot in the division.
yeah,
So,
there's a lot of
um,
to play. Let's point that out first before we go any further. There's still 30 or just under 30 games left to play. There is anything can happen at this point. Like,
yeah, anything. I mean, you could see. I mean, New Jersey's not even out of it if you want to talk about that, right? I mean, they're sitting at 56 points. Do I see them coming back with the quality of product they put on the ice lately? I don't think so.
I mean, they're
Um,
with injuries as well. I think the injury bug
yeah,
has have caused them some problems this year. I think that's kind of where they're at. Um, the Rangers, I checked this morning, they're at they're at 0.7% chance. Vancouver wasn't on the wheel anymore, so the Rangers could be out of it very soon if they continue to skid.
and when you're talking the wheel, you're talking Money Puck.
Money. Yep.
Yep, Money Puck. Playoff Money Puck has playoff odds, which I had it up to talk about this as well. So
Okay.
currently, the Penguins are sitting at a 76.7% chance of making the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
That's been the highest I've seen it in quite in quite a number of years, Scott. That means that um, now I mean that's huge, right? I mean that just seeing that number gets you excited.
It put the smile
And
on my face.
say that again.
It put the smile on my face.
It sure does, right? And that does not mean that, we're guaranteed a spot or anything like that. That's just where things sit right now, and based on simulations, that's kind of where it's at. You look at, other teams like the Wild, they're sitting at 99.5. Carolina's at 100, Anaheim 66. So, not every team can make it, but this is talking about the chances that we have, and based on simulations. Now, odds for Pittsburgh making the second round, right, are 37.7%.
I mean, that's not horrible.
That's pretty good for making the second round. I mean, you look at Colorado, they have a 100% chance of making the playoffs, but a 66% chance of making it to the second round.
Well, yeah.
Um, Lightning, 60% chance of making it to the second round. I mean, I like it. I like where we're at. I like where we've put ourselves like I'm on a team where the team has put themselves. Um, it's a really it's a good spot to be in right now, and I know it's 50 games, but
Mm.
I'm starting to move from that we'll see, like we'll see mindset to they may have something right now.
Well, let's just say, like, it's hard not to get excited about it. Like, and we've seen this before. Remember back in 2023, where they missed by 1 point.
Yeah, yeah,
Like, I remember they won a stretch of games, and they look like, okay, they're gonna make it this year.
right.
They're gonna match up with like the Islanders or the Rangers, and they dropped a couple of games. They skidded down a bit, and they missed by 1 point. So I think more point insurance, like talk to me, if they win 3 more games, then I'm bought in. I'm fully bought in. But those extra points, they need it so bad right now heading into the Olympic break.
Yeah. I mean, if we go into the Olympic break, how many games do we have until then?
Uh,
Um, Hold on,
four, we get 5 games.
that's what I thought. Five. So we have Chicago at home. We have the Rangers at home. Those
Yep.
two, they can. I'm sorry, I keep saying we today for some reason. The Penguins can win those two games, and
100%.
then we play Ottawa, New York Islanders, and Buffalo the first week of February.
I was saying this yesterday. Those last 2 games are huge.
Huge. Yeah.
If they're above the Islanders and they need to create more of a gap, that's a must-win game. That's a must-win. Like if they lose that game, that's detrimental.
I think I believe that we can beat an Ottawa team at home.
100%.
Yeah, I
Now,
mean, I
I,
think we can. The Islanders, that's going to be, I think, the toughest game for the Penguins in that stretch.
yeah,
Buffalo, I feel like we definitely can beat them,
we
but
can.
we always match up against them. Like it's always a tough game for some reason, no matter how good Buffalo is or how, where they're at in the standings or anything. Like we always just match up against them, in a weird way. But Buffalo's having a good year, so that's going to be another one. That's going to be a really difficult game.
Well, look at the Rangers game, and as we're recording this, they're in the midst of making a trade. So they're they're selling, and they're intending to sell with Mike Sullivan. So that's a game they got to take advantage of, especially since they're. Um, we should find out the details later of the fact they traded Carson Soucy. So that's curious. Funny enough, Ken Soucy's heading to the Islanders, so they improved on the back end.
Are you kidding me? They traded in division.
Yeah, so we saw another in division trade, which I find is more common. The details are set to come like later this evening, but a bunch of Rangers reporters said he's going to be heading to the Islanders tonight in a trade. So that's the first move of the Rangers retool. But yeah, the Islanders are going to get a big D man on the back end there. So that's what I mean. That game becomes more important.
Yep, absolutely. Absolutely. And Islanders are going to be you know, just like the Penguins might be doing, but maybe adding one or two pieces like that
Mhm.
to go into the playoffs. What I want to say though, and I know we may touch on it later on in this episode, is do
Yeah,
not expect the Penguins to do
buy
to do any like rental type deals like you may have seen early on, right? Or on past teams or under Rutherford or anything like that. They're not gonna acquire a rental for the playoffs or give away any draft capital to get, someone on the team just to get them through a playoff. That's not what this team is gonna be
Mhm.
set up to do. If they make a move, it's gonna be the same type of player.
Yes.
Someone young, someone that checks all those boxes, someone that fits the model, and someone that is going to be a part of this team.
Yeah. Like for the
So
long haul. And
yeah,
I think we'll touch on it later with the trade deadline aspect. But yeah, I think we'll speak more on it when it comes to that.
awesome. Anything else about the current standings? I'm again. This is a pretty big deal. They're in a really good spot, second in the division. Whereas last week they were down out of a wild card spot, and they've worked their way back. So really good spot to be in. Anything else from you, Scott?
No, I mean, I think ideally they can keep it up and can keep up a consistent pace where it's like if they lose one, they win another two. and can keep a pace like that, I don't see why they don't make the playoffs. I mean, 6-2-2 in their last 10. That's a pace they need to maintain. Essentially, in the East, it's a gauntlet. That's where they need to be. So, I think that's where they need to keep that tempo and keep that pace. And I think if they can, I don't see why they don't make it.
Now let's move on to the injury outlook. This the Pittsburgh Penguins this season have had the injury bug. We've had players in and out for quite some time. Even Evgeny Malkin just came back with his injury in a shoulder, which I know Kyle Dubas mentioned that, the reason he hasn't moved back to center yet is because of that injury, right? He's not comfortable taking those face-offs yet, and, getting down and putting that leverage on your shoulder with that injury is, they're just not comfortable with him doing that yet. So,
No.
They didn't break up that line, the big fella line, with Braz and Mantha and Malkin. They didn't break that up because of some experiment they wanted to do. It was because they, out of necessity, they needed to put Gino at wing. They can't have him taking faceoffs. But what happened last night that scared the entire city of Pittsburgh?
Oh, yeah, I saw this a couple minutes after the game ended. So it was kind of a fresh wound when it came through. I saw a tweet and a pretty evident video clip that Anthony Mantha shoulder tapped Gino, and he went writhing in pain, like immediately went down, holding that shoulder he was talking about. That held him out 15 games, and that's scary. Right away, the reactions from like the fan base and everything was like want to panic. I definitely panicked at first, but it was encouraging to hear Muser say that there was nothing of it, and that he's okay.
Yeah.
That's I hope. They have said, oh yeah, maintenance day has turned into a month. So again, I don't know if they're telling the truth or not. I think we'll find out when they get home.
Um, Knowing Dan Muse, and having talked to him and having connected with him many of times, you can usually hear what he's saying, right? And I say that, like, if there was something more to it, he wouldn't give a definite answer. He would say, he's being evaluated.
Mhm.
And because he came out, what did he say? He said he's fine.
He said he's okay. That's all he
Yeah,
really.
right. So, that's if he said he's okay, like with Muse, you really have to take it for what he's saying. If he's saying he's being evaluated, that means he's not confident in saying anything yet. So
The
the
word
fact
evaluated
that he's
out of his mouth.
say that again.
Quote evaluated didn't come out of his mouth in the quote. It was just Gino's okay. Nothing came from it, and that's it. That's all
Yeah.
he. So
So if anything changes, I'll let you know. And because I believe today is an off day, and then
Mhm.
they'll be back at it tomorrow, which is Tuesday. So I'll keep everybody updated if anything changes.
Yep.
Um, Jack St. Ivany,
Oof.
what's good? I mean, hell of a shift there. Got to give him props. They needed that big block, and the fact that he couldn't get off the ice, and just seeing him kind of use his body to try to block a couple more shots there. You're kind of like, oh man, I know you're in pain. Um,
The Edmonton.
obviously he's going to be missing some time. So, what do you project for him?
We're talking
Or
about the Edmonton block there with his foot, or was
no,
it
last night.
last game?
Yeah,
Yeah, I they disclosed it after game as a hand injury. I think he probably broke his hand.
yeah,
More than likely that's the case, and that's usually a month to two. They're lucky they have Connor Clifton, who's actually been playing good hockey, so it's not a detrimental loss. But Shea finally found his partner on the right
yeah.
end. So it raises the question: do they go and add for a third right-handed defenseman?
What is the newly acquired? Why is his name?
Ilya Solyov.
Yes, I'm glad you could pronounce his last name. I was gonna have to look it up to pronounce it, but I'm just gonna say Elias. What is he? Is he left-handed?
He's a left-handed defenseman.
Got
So
it.
it's Solo in Colorado.
Yeah.
We're just gonna call him Solo.
Yeah, Solo. That's a good one, actually. So he couldn't, he might. I mean, Dan Muse is known for kind of just fitting people in, but I think right now, they may go out and look for something else, or
They could.
or is Clifton someone that they could spot in or anything like that, or do you see them
Well,
making?
I'd like them to add. I like Clifton. I think he's been playing good recently, but I don't know if I'm going to trust some of the stuff he does. Let's say in a game one or a game two of a crucial playoff series against like the Islanders or something like that. Like we don't need any of that. So he might give a big hit to get the crowd
Mhm.
going, but like realistically, they need someone big on the back end that can provide like stability with Shea.
Yeah, because Shea gets a lot of minutes too.
Definitely.
It's not like you're talking about 7, 8 minutes a game. You're talking in the mid 20s. Even more than that at times. So, absolutely, I agree with you. Um, when it comes to a broken hand, there's nothing you can rush back. I mean, it kind of is what it is. So yeah, I mean, Rax had it. How long was he out?
He was out a month and a half, almost two.
I was going to say 6, 8 weeks, right? I mean,
That's the timeline
uh,
he'll probably be out.
um, so I know Gravy's on the IR.
Hmm.
Well, yeah, IR right now with lower body injury. Caleb Jones still on IR. So Solo may
They
be
could,
someone that comes back in, but right now they have, it might just be Shea Clifton, and then Solo may kind of bump back in and out.
I think they'll
Um,
set someone up just to be like a practice dummy. While St. Omni's probably going to head to IR. They'll probably call someone up from Wilkes, one would imagine. Um, but yeah, I think that'll probably just be a corresponding move.
yeah, and that's, I mean, we're talking if Carlson and Letang are both healthy and are
Yeah,
back,
I
right? That's what we're talking about, right?
hope they remain that
Yeah,
way.
yeah. So hopefully they're both healthy and back in action. I did hear some rumors that we're looking to move, or looking, hopefully, to move Dumba.
I
Um,
something
I
I saw something on those lines, so I'm hoping they're true because I heard he's not been doing so hot down in Wilkes. Um, so yeah, if they can get rid of Dumba, that would be amazing. I think just to help
and I
Wilkes.
and I've heard that, when that initial conversation was had about Dumba going down, it wasn't obviously no professionals excited about that, especially someone that's been in the league as long as Dumba has. But kind of it's where the team is at right now, and it actually does not surprise me
Nope.
that he is just like probably just not caring.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't think I think you can tell he's just at this point where it's like for him it's the lowest of low, and he hasn't mentally recovered from it still, and you can tell it's still probably eating him alive inside that he's still in Wilkes-Barre, not up at the NHL level. I mean,
Absolutely.
the player's confidence, and um, obviously we don't know what's going inside his head, right? But I can't imagine it's pretty peaceful at all in his head right now where he's at.
No, no. So I guess that kind of segues right into trade deadline talk, right? Or no, actually, we didn't talk about Rust. Um, yeah, right at the end of last night, there was the kind of scrum for the puck, with 1 second left. Russ came through, kind of to skated right past. Um, oh my gosh, why am I
John
forgetting him? Brock. Say that again.
Brock Besser.
Yeah, Brock Besser. So skated right by Brock Besser, and made contact with what it looked like was,
His
from
head.
at first, it looked like it was an elbow to the head, right? When you look at it closer, I broke it down frame by frame, and I posted that to my X account. But if you look at it frame by frame, Russ did come by, made contact with his head, but it was at his shoulder pad, right?
Sure.
So, yeah, it was the cap of his shoulder pad.
Mm.
It was clear as day. He came by, his elbow was tucked, everything, but it did look like he made contact with the head. Do we see those plays happen in the NHL?
Yeah,
Absolutely.
100%.
Um, is he going to get punished, or will he see a consequence for it?
Yeah, I
I think so too. Yeah.
recording this episode, like right as we were going live, the NHL Player Safety tweeted out that Brian Russ will have a virtual hearing tomorrow. There was an original tweet before that that said a date and time will be to be determined. But we do know he has his hearing tomorrow virtually. Now the good thing is it's not in person, so it won't be a hefty one. One would imagine it'll probably just be a one gamer.
Yeah. Yeah. That's what I was thinking. Um, Probably expect one game. If it goes beyond that, um, I would be very, very surprised if we see anything past one game.
Well, let's not point out that last night as well, Marchand dumped Matheson while he was on his knees, and nothing has come from that. So, if there's a standard of suspending people, and he gets a hefty one, then I'm going to start to question the NHL player safety a bit and how they're protecting their players.
Yeah. It's, and even when you break it down, like, he didn't make a run at him. Like, I truly don't think Rust made like a run at him. It was in the moment of saving a last second goal,
Like he's come,
right?
and you can tell he's diving in. That's not like Rusty. First off, one, he's never been suspended, and
Yep.
two, he's not a guy that falls through on an elbow hit like that. I think it was a freak accident, and he tried to protect a lead. And Besser's a dangerous guy, and he saw he was open like that. He just tried to kind of get in there and prevent a tying goal that way.
Yeah, and try to create some chaos in front of the net, right? I mean, that's extremely important in that situation.
Yep.
And when you're playing with a lead like that,
Mhm.
um, you kind of do what you got to do. And I don't think he went at him. I mean, Rax came from behind, right? Like, I was more worried about them looking at it and saying, well, like, Russ shouldn't have got the penalty. Maybe Rax gets the penalty because he basically cross-checked him. Um, so we will keep you updated. Scott and myself will definitely keep everybody updated on this. I hope it's nothing and it's a fine, but
Yeah, I'm hoping
um,
like a 5,000
you know,
fine there, just a warning, just because
yeah,
Russell's never had a hearing or suspension. So the fact they would just right away give him a one gamer and not like a warning. I mean, I get they're trying to protect Besser in that situation. I will say as well, it's not looking as good for us just because Besser has been placed on IR today.
yeah.
So that's not going to help his case one bit.
No, not one bit. What was the? Did you hear what the final kind of injury was for Besser?
They said Adam Foote last night said it was a concussion. They were right
Yeah,
away deemed it was a concussion. So I
yeah,
think the blunt of the hit in his elbow. I think yeah, he didn't look in good shape when he was getting up there, and right away he looked winded and he didn't know where he was. So I think I get like I said this in my article last night. I said the evidence alone is not in his favor.
no, no, not at all. And you could see, right, when you hit the chin and when you come across with that much speed and you hit that chin like that, I mean, that's unfortunately it is what it is, right? And like you said, all the everything that you look at and you watch, and then the end result of the play, it's just all leaning in, a one game suspension. So I wouldn't be surprised, having Rust out for one game is not the end of, the world or the end of the season. I think we just have to be lucky that, we're playing a Chicago team, a team that we can beat. And, Russ not being in the lineup will hurt us, but, I think we
More
can,
ways than one. You
yeah,
will realize that like that means Kevin Hayes is coming back in.
Yeah. I'm so sorry. Maybe Rax continues his scoring streak.
Well, I hope so because the lines are going to be all juggled, and I don't know who's going to be with who.
Yeah, who knows?
Fourth line. They
Who
can't
knows?
line. You can't break up the third line. So Kevin Hayes might just go into the one right wing spot.
Or Novak moves up, and then they put
No, don't ruin
Kevin
that.
Hayes with Malkin.
That line's on fire. You do not touch the rest of the team. Just put him with Rax and Sid, and let's call it a day for one game.
Yeah. Or you see they might bring up someone like Koivunen or something and throw him into the line for one game.
You know what? That's not horrible. I mean, I prefer they do that, but I don't think they want to hurt Kevin Hayes' feelings. So I think he'll get his game.
Probably.
Yeah.
Probably. Also, small shout out to the big three and Evgeny Malkin, Chris Letang, and our captain, your captain, Sidney Crosby. Last night marked the 1,000 game
Yep.
milestone that they've played together for 1,000 games.
Great.
I believe they have close to 40. 40 games remaining until they would be like the number one team or the number one trio. I forget. I was looking at the number just a bit ago, and I'm almost positive it's around 40 more games, and then they'll be the number one trio who has played together the longest. Is that right?
I think so, correct. They're going to
Yeah.
hit it this season, if not next season. It would be like right at the start of next season.
Wild. That is an absolutely wild number, and seeing Sid and Gino still, averaging the numbers that they average per game and carrying this team to where they're at now. I mean, it's
It's
at the
incredible.
age that they're at, it is absolutely incredible.
Actually, I wanted to bring this up too. Now that we're talking about the big three, I just wanted to just talk about this for like 2 minutes. With the Olympic break coming up, we have heard the rumors that Kyle Dubas and Evgeny Malkin's camp are going to talk a 1-year extension.
Yeah.
I did want to point that out. That Gino says he feels great. He feels he has 1 more year left in him after this year. I would imagine that's going to get done over the Olympic break. Could we see Chinnikov as well? Because I think if he continues it up, maybe he gets it now. If they can get about a cheaper amount of money. Because if he plays really well the rest of the year, his asking price might go up. They might be able to get him cheaper, lock him into a mid-bridge deal.
Yeah.
So
That's a really good point. And back to Malkin really quick. I know Josh Yohe of The Athletic asked him in the locker room the other night after the Edmonton game. Was it Edmonton game? And asked, would he like 1 more year? And, really just asking an open-ended question. And Gino made sure to add in there that he's ready to go for 1 more year. So, but regarding Chinnikov, that's a really good question. To me, I think that, we see the Penguins wait on that just because we've had such a small sample size of success. I think that, we may see it towards the end of the year or even after the regular season ends just because of the sample size that we're at right now. Is it large enough to commit to him long term? And what does that deal look like? I do think that Chinnikov is a Penguin next year.
Yeah.
I do think that because he's on his last year.
Last year, he's an RFA. So he's an RFA.
Yeah.
He have his rights.
So
qualify him if they had to get to that point. I think it's a deal. I don't think there would be an issue.
I think he'll be a Penguin next year. I would say 98% he'll be a Penguin, but what level does that qualify him at, right? Like, what kind of deal do we give him? Do we give him a 2-year deal or something like that? So, that's a totally different topic. I think if he would have been here since the beginning of the year, but the fact that we've only seen him for a few weeks now.
If we're swapping out players instead of Chinnikov, maybe Connor Dewar gets talked to. He's a name I probably...
That one you brought up to me, what was it, last week,
That's
whenever we were talking about the Blake Lizotte um, contract extension. What are your thoughts? I mean, like, what are your thoughts on that? Do you think Dewar is kind of primed for a deal, or what do you think?
Yes, I think he's more than deserving of it. I think if they're gonna lock Lazat into that long-term deal, and they're gonna continue to build the team off that fourth line, that energy line, he's a guy you're gonna want to keep around. He's a really big glue guy in that line, and he brings just the same amount of energy as Lizzo and Cookie do. So that's a guy I would probably inquire. I'd ask his agent what is he looking for, and then talk about it, see where they want to go with it. If they think it makes sense, then go with it, or if they want to talk like another 1 year deal, like another prove a deal, and then if it's good enough, maybe a mid-term deal, like a 3 4 year deal.
Yeah, and with Dewar, like he's not. How do I say this correctly? He's not Lizzo,
No.
right? Like, and the fact that whenever they locked Lizzo up, I love what Dubas said there, right? I love what he said, and I tweeted it out, earlier this week about, whenever GM Kyle Dubas even said that where he's aired in the past,
Mhm.
with Sue and Toronto, when you have someone like Blake Lizotte, you keep him around,
Yeah.
right? And I think what that sent a message to, or what that was kind of a message to the rest of the team was, hey, if you're committed and you continue to work and bring good energy night in, night out with us, like without the need of us to push you, right? Without like having coaches pushing you, but you do it on your own. Um, and if you continue doing that, like there may be a place here for you.
Hmm.
And I think that signing was kind of that reminder to everybody that, hey, look at Lizzo, right? Everyone knows he works the hardest. Everyone knows he's kind of the motor that drives that line and drives the team at times. Um, but he does it without any maintenance
Nope.
from the team and from the coaches. So, I don't know what they're feeling on Dewey. I know they like him a lot. I know that there's very good things said about him. I know he's a big piece of this team, so I would I would really hate to see them break that lineup in any way at all, right? Like just keep it together, even if it's a another 1 year deal. But Dewey's young. He's not, well, I guess he's getting there in hockey age, but he's young in life. What is he, 26?
20. So yeah, he's in his mid 20s. He's kind of hitting towards his prime.
Yeah. So I personally would like to see them lock up, you know, um, would like to see them lock up Dewey for sure. Yeah,
Yes.
he's 20, yeah, 26.
26.
And he was on a 1 year deal. But they have that background too,
Yeah.
right? So they're very familiar with each other. So I would definitely see him back next year as well.
Mhm.
Um, now Achari, what do you think about that?
Um, I would take a look to see if there's someone a little younger. I think there's always guys out there
Yeah.
that have not just pedigree, but that can do essentially the same thing he does, but better and faster. I think
Yeah,
that's
because
the way to go.
he's 34 years old. I mean, he's yeah, what is he? 8 years older than 6 years older than Lizzo. I mean that he's getting to that age where he can't skate like that anymore. In a year or two. So why extend him when essentially you can replace him with someone younger?
Exactly. Well, that's the logic I think Kyle is going to go for going forward.
Yeah, I agree. Um, Interesting. That's something to keep an eye on.
Agreed.
I wonder if we see any of those come through before the end of the season.
I think
Um,
if we see one, it would be Gino, and it would be Olympic break.
yeah,
I
I
think
agree with that.
we all know they're going to be talking. Kyle has made it evident, and Gino's camp has made it evident they want to talk. So I think people are going to be a little antsy over the Olympic break, not just with Olympic hockey being back with NHLers, but for Pens fans, that Geno extension is going to be looming.
Well, and and I know we've heard, he would play on a lower salary, he would take a pay cut.
Hmm.
Um, I'm not sure if we've heard Gino say that, but we've heard the rumblings of it.
Hmm.
I don't even think we need to do a huge pay cut. It's, unless Kyle has something up his sleeve where we are, really expanding the team and making a couple big signings, but I don't, or we bring somebody in, that has the initials JR and might take up a significant piece of the cap. But I mean, we may not even have to give him a pay cut.
Well,
Is that
they have a lot.
6.1 million?
They have $50 million to work with in the offseason. I think
Yeah,
they have more than enough money to use on.
right. That's kind of my point. We have plenty of cap to work with here. So, um, is who do you think? And this is kind of talking, these are projections. I want to clarify. These are not things that we have heard.
Yeah.
But if you would make a guess or take a guess, is there anyone, when you look at the depth chart right now, is there anyone that you think is going to be moved at the deadline?
There's one person I've had my questions about that I think might. And it sucks to say it. He's actually played really well this year, but I think Anthony Mantha would be
Yep.
the guy that might go due to the fact
He
ending.
he
He brings value to someone that's looking just for a veteran forward. And if the Penguins can get younger from that, well, I mean, it's a no-brainer. I think I we appreciate what Mantha's done. Him and Brazo have clicked, but if they
yep.
can get someone younger and get value out of Mantha on a pending deal, why not?
Yeah. I mean, he has surprised me this year and especially the past few games. He has played very, very well. He's 31 years old. He's on a 1 year deal.
Mhm.
If we can flip him for something, I think we do it.
Yeah,
Um, and unless you think that, hey, let's carry this through and let's see if they can compete.
it
But if
happen. Like very well, you could see Kyle do nothing,
yeah,
and he's confident in his team as is, which it's a 50% chance that could happen.
yeah, I think it's not anything he does is going to surprise me, and it's not going to surprise me at the same time, right? So I think we're in a situation right now where anything it's up in the air. Um, if he wants to see it through and ride this team to the end of the season and see if they squeak into the playoffs, awesome. If maybe they get, a good spot in the playoffs, awesome. I mean, there's so many different routes we can go. And I think none of us expected this.
No,
That's what's important here. I thought we were going to be talking about, maybe a, top 10 pick this season, talking more about draft scouting and things like that. I did not think we'd be talking about playoffs at
well,
this
I
point.
want to take into account that if the Rangers had given us their pick this year,
Yeah, yeah.
conversations really would have been had.
Oh, could you imagine?
That they're at the fifth overall pick right now. We could have been talking Ivan Stenberg at this point.
Man.
So
Um,
it could have been possible. But I think they knew they were going to be in this position this year, which they were smart to give us the pick.
yeah, no, and there's too many big names in next year's pick. Or
Yeah.
I'm sorry, this year's pick. Last year, there was a lot of names in this year's pick.
Well, I think I'm
Uh,
glad they did because we ended up with Ben Kindle out of it. So I'm not complaining.
yeah, no, absolutely. I love it. Couldn't be happier. I know that the other two we picked and Zonin and Horkoff in the first round
I
both have been
better every day, especially Will Horton.
yeah. Well, yeah, Will Horkoff is absolutely blowing up the NCAA. Bill Zonin is finally healthy and he's back on the ice and doing Bill Zonin things. And um, we have what two people, two prospects that are blowing up the NCAA right now. So
Yep.
um, it's big things are happening for sure in the Penguins prospect. But look
Yep.
how quickly he turned it around. I mean, Kyle Dubas, I think.
Really fun.
Um,
quick?
I think he's definitely in the talks for executive of the year for what he's done to this Penguins team.
Yeah, I would hope he's in GM of the year conversations. I know obviously Jim Nill gets the award every year for some insane reason, but I'd hope Kyle is in the conversations just with the fact that he has essentially turned a team with no expectations and has turned them into a possible playoff team. I think that warrants a GM of the year conversation.
Yeah, and brought in a new coach. And speaking of new coaches, I know in the Pittsburgh area, on our Pittsburgh's DSEN, we had an emergency show on Saturday when the new head coach of the Steelers was announced, and I made sure to say, I felt like Pittsburgh Penguins were the only team in Pittsburgh doing it correctly.
Yep.
Where, and I'm not talking about the end result, right? Because we may not make the playoffs this year or whatever, but I feel like what we did this year was we built a flexible team with a flexible schedule around a coach that drives fundamentals. And look at the excitement that we brought back, that they brought back to the city, to the ice, to the team, to the locker room. There's so much excitement around this team right now, and I just think that the Penguins are doing it right. I feel like Cal Dubas is doing it right. The end result we'll talk about, that's still to come and still to play out. So, but everything else, I feel like they're doing really well.
Yeah, I think like I know who you're talking about. I thought you were talking about Mike McCarthy. And Mike McCarthy, new head coach. Mixed feelings. But again, like we said, time for a change, and it's time for they have now an offensive minded coach, and we know new coaches can always work out. So
Man, I can't even say that I have mixed feelings. I do not have mixed feelings. Like I'm all about like when you have an opportunity to potentially bring in somebody younger and kind of innovative and start bringing in some new ideas. Like I feel like that's what you need to do in these situations
I agree.
when you have fans, really upset, fans that are, chanting during games. Maybe you've isolated yourself off to hearing those chants,
Mhm.
but I don't know. I just felt like this we may go 13 and, and
13-4.
13 and 4. We may go 12 and whatever. Like we may have winning seasons and make it, into the late rounds of the playoffs. That doesn't matter to me, right? I'm talking like long term is what I'm talking, and I've always taken a lot of pride in the way the Steelers have built their coaching staff or their head coaches. I've always had a lot of pride in that, and this one I just did not see coming out of left field. I did not think that he'd be
No.
the one.
Well,
Uh,
I thought it would have been Chris Shula for sure.
yeah, me too. Someone along those lines, for sure. And they didn't even wait long enough to have him come in and meet with the organization, right?
Well, I
Th-
think an in-person interview means a lot more than a virtual interview. And even in the NHL last season, we did see some virtual interviews. I know Mitch Love, when he was interviewing, obviously now controversial, but he had a virtual interview, then he had an in-person interview. So again, the in-person means a lot more than it does virtual.
Absolutely.
I think they
And
had McCarthy not just had one, but had two. I think they had their mindset from the beginning.
yeah, I mean, I think most of them, you always do that virtual interview first, right? Like, hey, who is this person? Let me kind of pick their brain a little bit, and then you bring that person in and spend the day with them. Um, but I think they pulled the trigger too fast. I felt like they didn't give opportunity to the guys from the Rams to prove what they could bring. Um, that, and I know this isn't Steelers weekly update, but um, you're getting our Pittsburgh come out of us right now.
Exactly. Our Yinzer.
Our
Uh,
Yinzer.
mm,
I'm a Yinzer, right?
fucking
Um, but check out the show. I know if you're watching this on YouTube, go
yeah.
check out Saturday's show with Kevin, myself, and JT.
Mhm.
Um, I went off. I was not happy. I drove. As soon as it broke, I was standing in my living room and got in a car, drove down to the studio, and it was an interesting conversation, but
I can imagine. Yeah, it was it came across my phone as I was writing up an article actually, so it was kind of funny that it came across my feed and I was kind of like, oh, like they settled for him just
yep, that's it. They settled for him too, right?
what, because he's from Pittsburgh. If they explain why, I think tomorrow or Wednesday, that's a sad excuse.
I believe they have a what is it called? A press conference tomorrow at 2 o'clock. So,
That's tomorrow.
as for the Penguins, right? Back to some Penguins talk. The Penguins take on Chicago on Thursday, the 29th at 7 p.m. And then the New York Rangers at 3:30 p.m. on Saturday. Both are home games. So,
Game homestand coming up.
yep, which I'm excited about. And I will be there covering the Pittsburgh Penguins for everybody. So if you have what I always like doing, if you have any questions or, questions that you would like us to ask the team or the players or the coaches after to get more clarification, just shoot me a note on X. Shoot Scott a note on X, and we want to be a conduit for our fans to the organization. So we're always open to that.
No, 100%. Like reach out to any of us. Like if you have any questions or anything like that, or any just like general mailbag questions in a way. Like don't be afraid to ask them.
Yeah.
We'll answer them, and we're pretty open in our DMs. So, yeah, it makes sense.
Absolutely. Scott's definitely open in his.
Any-
All right. So let's wrap this show up. All right. Again, this is Penn's Weekly Update with Scott and Ken. Again, we're presented by Pittsburgh's DSEN. And if you want to check us, check the radio network out, go to pghdsen.com and please subscribe to Pittsburgh's DSEN YouTube and the show. Follow us, DM us, anything, and we'll talk to you next week.
He's trying to walk to the net. He scored!